Hey everyone, Dmitry is here again with another issue of Russian news. Today I'm going to show you how Russian non-systemic opposition works, people who hate Putin and wish to overthrow him, or rather what they're like. Then we'll talk a little bit about anti-ethnic Russian sentiment inside of Russia. And on a lighter note, I'll show you a little bit of how Russians can be easygoing and funny. It's not all war and serious stuff. So here we go. First off, we're going to do a bit of a follow-up on Daria Dugunas' murder. And if you follow this story, Russian special services decided that this lady over here, Ukrainian agent Vovk, is the murderer. She organized the car bombing and she fled to Estonia. And now it looks like she was murdered herself, but it turns out that she wasn't really murdered, so the story is really murky and obscure. But there is another twist to it, which really characterizes members of Russian so-called non-systemic opposition. The most well-known of them is Alexei Navalny. You've probably heard of him. There are plenty more. I've been following these people for years, and my opinion of them haven't really changed. I have had a very difficult time taking them seriously, even though some things that they say are correct. You know, I agree with some of the things they said. Before you start calling me a Putin stooge, I can tell you that I was at a founding conference of the Russian Libertarian Party, being one of the most prominent Russian libertarians in 2013, and they really did not impress me. They were just a bunch of soft Moscow boys who didn't like Putin, and that was pretty much it. That was their sum total of their political convictions. But I'm diverging. There is now a new version of Daria Dugunas' death, and there is a guy who is saying that there is a new rebel army. It is called National Republican Army, and they took the responsibility for murdering Daria Dugina, and he spoke with them, and they confided in him.
Ну вот начну прямо, возьму быка за рога, чтобы долго не ходить, потому что, казалось бы, заурядное событие обсуждают все.
So this here guy, smiling, is called Ilya Ponomarev. He's a former deputy of the Russian Duma, Russian parliament, ex-deputy from Spravedlivaya Rossiya, the Just Russia party, which is a kind of leftist party, which is still in the parliament. And he fled Russia some times ago, and he's very, very anti-Putin, very, very anti-current Russian regime. So what he's saying is that people from this army got in touch with him and told him that this is them who blew up the car and murdered Daria Dugina. And he's also saying that the Vovk version of this murder, this car bombing, Vovk is the last name of the lady that I showed you at the beginning of this video, is all FSB plant and just a special service operation. So he's saying that there are young people in this army, and this was their kind of an entry act, you know. They just entered the political and, I guess, armed rebellion stage of Russian life. And all I can say about it is that really, you know, I've always had an impression that they're all being paid by Putin, you know, honestly. Just because they're such a freak show. This guy, there are dozens of people like him. They all fled Russia. They're now calling for the armed rebellion, and they're probably hoping, I don't know, maybe they're seriously hoping to come back here and head the new Russian government, the government of the new liberated Russia. It is all ridiculous, you know, it is all just ridiculous beyond, you know, I don't know how would anyone be taking them seriously. You know, they have zero influence inside of Russia. This is just another of those funny stories, this Russian Eastern European political freak show. Just look at the guy, National Republican Army, for goodness sake, man. I don't know who is feeding them. People who feed them in the West, I don't know what they're hoping. They have zero prospects here in Russia. And he's being interviewed by this Ukrainian journalist. And now let's talk about kind of interethnic tension that is quite common in Russia. It's bubbling to the surface every once in a while. It is not something huge, but there is a bit of tension between ethnic Muslims and ethnic Christians, between Slavs and Turkic-speaking peoples, both migrants and local ones. So one of the examples is this video from the northern city of Tyumen in the northeast of Russia. So this guy with the very pronounced Central Asian accent is yelling out, "Russian Ivan is over. Russians have become lazy." And I don't know how this argument on the bus began, but he was yelling it out. It got onto the social media, and of course there were lots of resentment and disapproval from the majority of viewers, and he is risking get 15 days in jail for there is this article in the criminal code for incitement of interethnic strife and hatred. These cases happen every once in a while, quite often, I'd say, probably once a month. Something like this gets on the news. It's not violent or anything, but, it is a sign of the times. Then there is another example of the same kind of sentiment, same kind of behavior. This lady with prominent lips, she's a Tatar, ethnic Tatar. She's from Kazan, which is the capital of Tatarstan, the Tatar Republic. And she publicly on social media said that Russians are beggars and they can achieve nothing. She was swearing and all that. And of course, people paid attention. And now she apologized for what she said.
Я извиняюсь перед русским, перед татарами, перед всеми национальностями.
She's saying that she's apologizing to Tatars, Russians, and all nationalities. She was slightly drunk, and she got into an argument with one of the subscribers. So that's how it goes in Russia. There are tensions, but they're workable tension, not lethal. And they're quite deftly managed by all participants of the conflict. And on a lighter note, I wanted to show you a scooter boss. He was noticed on Moscow street, riding his scooter in a very comfy office chair. Look at this. He is a scooter boss. This is what they called him on social media. It's very funny. No one can say that Russians have no sense of humor. And then there is this, people dancing Lezginka, which is a traditional Caucasian dance on the street. They're probably members of the wedding cortege. Yeah, very nice. Fun. They used to be shooting out of car windows with traumatic weapons, but they don't do it anymore. They're just dancing. So, it is a fun little thing. Fun little prank. Caucasian wedding. So don't say that we're all gloomy and dark and morose. There are some fun things happening in this country of ours. This was Dmitry Balkovsky with his Russian news. Dmitry the Russian. Thank you and bye.